Now, can you hear me now? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Interesting. Can you guys hear me? Everything looks good on my end from a sound standpoint. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Good? Okay. All right. Hey, welcome back. Welcome. Awesome. Everybody's good to go. Everybody can hear me. We're all good. I'm Dave Knapp. Welcome to On the Pen. This is a special edition of On the Pen Live. We are pushing to 15,000 subscribers. So if you're new here, I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're over on TikTok, you can find that in the link in my bio. You can subscribe over there. We're trying to get to 15,000. So help us be a part of that. We're at 14,300 and change right now. So we need about 700 subscribers over on YouTube to get to 15,000. If you're new here on YouTube, put N in the chat next to your name. Let me know that you're new. I'd love to welcome you by name. And then hit the subscribe button right below this live stream here and subscribe to get all the notifications for what we do here on the Pen. We cover all things GLP-1 related. So if it's news about GLP-1s, we cover that. If it's clinical trials of new medications, potentially pipeline medications, we cover those as well. And we just do it all here. We do it all here, and we're really pushing. I really want to get to 15,000 over here on YouTube. So if you subscribe, let me know. Wheels up. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome. I'm going to pull my TikTok friends over here to where I can better see what you're writing to me as well. But I wanted to just jump on today, this afternoon on a Saturday, and just offer up some time to go over whatever you all want to talk about. We do a lot of live streams over here on YouTube that are scheduled. So we do a weekly talk show called On the Pen Live. If you didn't catch that this week, you can catch it on demand. You can just type into your browser onthepen.tv. That's where you can get the On the Pen live show. We had Dr. Spencer Nadolski come on, and we talked about that. So the first question that we have wheels up is about the compounding ban. Let me jump back to Chris's question. Dave, I'm stacking 7.5 Zep with 2 milligrams of Retta per week. Would you consider it? I would not consider Retatrutide at this point, since it's only in clinical trials and really only available through the research grade stuff. That is not my bag or my cup of tea. But do come back and let us know how that goes, Chris, and be very, very careful. I hope that you're doing that under doctor supervision. The second question is about the compounding ban. So yeah, it's a great question. Where are we sitting with the compound ban? People want to know that. It's a very common question that we're getting right now. So to lay the kind of groundwork without boring some of you who already know, hey, hit that thumbs up button if you're new here. And if you're just joining here, that helps this get out to some other people. But the compound ban, basically, there's an FDA shortage list. When a drug manufacturer puts their drug on an FDA shortage list, 503B pharmacies can mass produce it. 503B pharmacies are like factories. Don't think of it like your local pharmacy. Think of it like a drug factory. And 503Bs can make and mass produce drugs that are in shortage. Well, the FDA and Eli Lilly have been working together to remove tirzepatide from the shortage list, which would mean that we can no longer get it in mass-produced quantities. So it's going to mean that compound versions are harder to get. The OFA, the Outsourcing Facilities Association, which represents 503B pharmacies, sued the FDA. And right now we're in a holding pattern on that lawsuit until November 21st. So that's a key date, November 21st. On November 21st, essentially what's going to happen is the FDA and the Outsourcing Facilities Association are going to report back to the courts. And in doing so, they're basically going to just update the court on where they're at. Now, the FDA has told us that during this period where they're sort of putting a stop to everything, that they're considering actually putting it back on the shortage list. If they did, that would be a really good thing for compound access, for 503B compound access. So the 21st is the earliest that we may hear something about that, and that's coming up next week. Now, all they have to do is do a status report back to the court. They may not have an answer at that point, but if they don't, I'm not sure that the OFA is going to go along with it, and they may sort of force the issue with courts. But let's say the FDA comes back, and worst case scenario for people who rely on compounds, let's say they come back and they say, well, hey, you know what we decided to do is we decided to leave it off the shortage list, so no more compounds. Well, what's going to happen at that point is this lawsuit will continue between the OFA and between the FDA. But more importantly, compounds will be available through 503A pharmacies in custom formulations and in doses that aren't clinically available through commercially available, rather. 503As are always able to do that, sort of a way around the patents in a way, but it's not designed to be a way around a patent. It's designed to provide a medical, a medicine to a patient that cannot tolerate the branded medication. And so I think that if we're relying on 503As to sort of be the be all end all that are going to save the world here, I think that we probably have some false hope there. So it'll be very interesting to see how people handle that. Of course, Novo Nordisk removed Ozempic from the shortage list and Wegovy from the shortage list as well. If the FDA goes along with that over the next month while they're verifying that, then semaglutide would be in the same boat as tirzepatide, right? As we are with tirzepatide right now. So that is sort of where they're at. Texas 72 said, "Hey, bud, received my pills, and I can agree with you that it does help with appetite." That's amazing, Texas. Yeah, some people have been taking the DNF10, the Can't Wait supplement that I found in my searches on peptides. This is a peptide that is thought to work on leptin and ghrelin to basically increase your satiety and reduce your hunger signals. The link's in the description of my video, or if you're on TikTok in my bio, that is what Kevin was referring to there. Max dose of Can't Wait, 2 pills once a day. That is what my bottle says. And so I take 2 first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And the light, it wouldn't be a normal On the Pen show without the light trying to give somebody a seizure. So there is a trick, a remedy for this. You just pick up the power supply and tap it a couple times, typically is what it takes. And then it behaves for a period of time. There are some COA out helping pick pharmacy. I'm not sure what that's what you mean exactly by that, Michael. But yeah, if you have more questions, please drop it in the comments while I kick the power supply down here. Any side effects of the Can't Wait? Some people have told me that they've got some tummy issues with them at first. It's a yeast-based product, so some people's stomachs might have a little hard time adjusting to that. That's how they get the peptide out, right? And same thing with semaglutide, actually. It's a recombinant yeast-based peptide. So it Can't Wait. So taking it orally, it's a small chain peptide, so it is orally bioavailable, not like these longer chains that we take that are what do you call it? The pharmacy grade. Certificate of authenticity. Are you talking about the Can't Wait? If you're talking about the Can't Wait, basically they're a 503B pharmacy, so they follow the current goods and manufacturing process. Their typical means of distribution is through doctors, so I think they provide COAs to doctors. I don't think they put that out public facing. I don't know why. I haven't asked them, but they are they're 503B, so they follow the CGMP, which means all of their sourcing has to go through the FDA. What would you say? Hey, Jackson, how are you today, buddy? What would you say for people that try to say the Can't Wait doesn't work but haven't tried it? I would say if people say that it doesn't work and they haven't tried it, then I think that's a little goofy. I mean, it's definitely not going to work for everybody, but it has for me. And so people always say like they're skeptical of this stuff, and rightfully so. I would be too. I actually found this doing my own research. These people did not find me. I found them. And in fact, I was telling people about them well before I had any incentive to. Now we do have a savings code. So if you want to save 10% on them, they're a little spendy, but they do work for me. OTP 10 is how you can get those with 10% discount. Dave, welcome. Hey, if you're new here, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. So if you go to YouTube and subscribe, come and let me know in the comments. I'd like to thank you by name. It's $80, 10% off with the coupon. Let's see. I'm worried about when I go to 15 milligrams and max out on Zepbound. I think that a lot of people will worry about that, Dave. The good news is you're gonna get what you can out of that dose, and then you're gonna have more options in the future. In 2026, we get CagriSema. So if you don't get to where you need to be on the highest dose, don't fret. These medications are getting better and better by the year. It's Can't Wait is the name of the peptide. Somebody's asking on TikTok. Somebody else is asking on YouTube. Can't Wait. IntegrativePeptides.com. The link is in the bio. It's a DNF10. It's a short chain peptide that's thought to work on leptin and ghrelin. And for me, I've been taking it. I've lost 1 pound a week over the last 6 weeks since I started taking it. And I was kind of with Dave where I was maxed out at the 15 milligram. Like if you can dose up in your medication, then consider doing that. Like if you've got rungs of the ladder to climb and you're strong, like you're on a GLP medication, I would talk to your doctor about dosing up. This for me, I explored it because I maxed out what I like Dave said, I maxed out on the 15. I can't lose any more weight on it. I probably need stronger medication as a type 2 diabetic or just a slower responder to these medications. And so I was doing a research of peptides and why certain peptides get what's the word I'm looking for? Trademarked, patented, and brought to market as pharmaceuticals versus why they don't get brought to market as a nutraceutical. And that's what this is. It's a nutraceutical peptide thought to work on leptin and ghrelin. I found them. I think it's great. So yeah, but like, I don't think it's for everybody. So I hesitate to, I'm answering questions right now, and I didn't come on to talk about integrated peptides, but it is what I've been working. It seems like just about every time I jump on, people start asking about this peptide. And so I'm happy to talk about it. I think it's amazing. You can get it at integratedpeptides.com. The link is in my bio. But if y'all have questions, the suppression's going good, Michael. For me, the challenge is remembering to take it. I'm not good at rhythms and routines. So I just have to remember to take it in the morning. That's my biggest thing. Other questions. I took my first 10, says Nita, and Mounjaro yesterday started 624 and lost 40 pounds since the 24th of June. That's amazing, Anita. Congratulations on your progress. How much have you lost in total and how long on TERS, Megs? I've lost about 11% of my body weight, which is right where the typical diabetic is on tirzepatide. But my highest weight was 319 and I'm at 379 right now. So about 40 pounds of weight loss. And I've been on for 2 years. Nikki, I am, but you should always talk to Nikki wants to know, can you take Can't Wait with a GLP-1? I am, but talk to your doctor about it before you take anything for sure. It's a nutraceutical over the counter. There aren't any contraindications that I've seen, but it's definitely a question for your doctor, not me. Are you still taking GLPs and thought they stopped working? And I'm subscribed. Thank you for subscribing, Dave. I still take 15 milligrams of Mounjaro weekly. So yeah, I'm still taking a GLP-1. I wouldn't not take a GLP-1. I'm a type 2 diabetic. It helps control my blood sugars. It does a lot of really great things for me beyond the weight loss. But the weight loss has seemed to sort of maxed out where I'm going to get with it. Steve Thomas, when stalled, what's the best practice on diet and calorie count on tirzepatide? Steve, that's definitely a question that I'm not equipped to answer. I think that's a question for your doctor and your nutritionist, because listen, obesity is a disease that is experienced on a spectrum. And if I tell you to do X, Y, or Z, that may go against your own experience with obesity. Like I was told to go on keto. Well, I've yo-yoed on keto my entire life. And part of the reason why I think I got as heavy as I did was because of that roller coaster that I was on. So I hesitate to give any advice about what to do with diet and exercise as you're stalled out. But one of the things that you can do if you out is the TDEE calculator. You can do a Google search for that. And basically you just put in your weight, your height, your gender, and it's going to spit out, a general idea of where you should be for calories for maintenance. So you know that you got to be under that for weight loss. But that's about the best you're going to get from me for advice. Are you able to stop taking meds for a couple weeks? I tried, actually went off for a couple weeks. I did that, didn't help. I went on semaglutide, Ozempic for a little while. That didn't help either. Finding great results when you split your dose, 80% of dose on day 1 and then 20% on day 4. Very interesting. There are not any studies on that. In fact, I think they just came up with the 7 days because that would be easier for people to remember. But I do think that's interesting. Questions are coming a little faster than I can keep up with them right now. But thanks for asking. Have you heard of Big Pharma doing further price reductions for many who don't have coverage? I think that we'll get more vials, single dose vials for Zepbound. And, you know, hopefully they're in that 550 to 650 range. 2022, I was 318. Now I'm 206. So close to Wonderland. That's amazing. What are your thoughts on lowering GLP-1 dose for a while, then re-increase? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's definitely no trial data, weight wellness on that. So I don't know. You know, I definitely talk to your doctor and tinker around if, you know, talk to your doctor about tinkering around with some things if you want to try to get the needle moving again. Is Medicare going to okay Zepbound for sleep apnea? That is, we heard at Obesity Week, which I was part of last week, the Zepbound indication for sleep apnea is coming by the end of the year here. So expect it before the calendar changes to 2025 for sure. That is coming. Anita says she loves the show. Thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. We're pushing to 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're not following on YouTube, TikTok, you can click the link in my bio. That'll take you to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Just search OnThePen on YouTube and hit subscribe. If you do that, come back and let me know in the chat. If you're new here watching on YouTube, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well. Incretin Science, how are you today? Awesome. Incretin Science, am I used to seeing you on TikTok or am I used to seeing you elsewhere? I think TikTok, but maybe Instagram. Incretin Science. Happy Saturday to you, Sarah. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, well, weight wellness. I've tinkered around with just about everything you can imagine. I'm a tinkerer for sure. Do you think insurance will cover for sleep apnea? I'm praying for that's a loophole. Well, I think it's going to become a challenge for some people to get the insurance companies to add it to the formulary, but it will be the only medicine for sleep apnea. So if you have obstructive sleep apnea, Michael, thank you for the $10 super sticker on YouTube. I appreciate that, buddy. Then you know, it'll just be about how quickly the formularies take it up, right? Mags subscribed over on YouTube. Thank you for the subscription on YouTube. We're trying to get to 15,000. Hey, Kelly, how are you today? We're live on Instagram, we're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Twitter. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on TikTok right now. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Wheels Up likes the 80-20 split. Very interesting. That's awesome. And Husk Texan has been able to lower their sleep apnea pressure. That's amazing. I think it was, gosh, I can't remember the exact number, but I think 51% of people who took tirzepatide were able to come off their sleep apnea machine. I might be getting that number wrong, but it was a majority of people. The Nectarine Man, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Has been tracking their progress very slowly, very closely. Always seem to gain day 6 and 7, and that stopped once you did the 80-20 approach. Very interesting. Eli Lilly is doing a head-to-head trial in psoriatic arthritis patients, Taltz versus Taltz with Zep. I have PSA, so I'm jazzed about that study. Yeah, that is a really good study, and they're moving into more biologics, like literally anything related to inflammation. You can expect that there will be doing tirzepatide trials because it is so good at reducing the amount of inflammation in your body. You friended me on my old TikTok account, but I already deactivated by then. Okay. There you are. You're a biochemist. Wow. So really Incretin Science. That's amazing. What was your old TikTok account, Incretin Science? Weight Wellness does split dosing, and it was a game changer for them. That's amazing. Yeah, so people are getting creative. Doctors are being more willing to try some new things. Would GLP-1 and GIP sync make the side effects more mild? I think that's the idea with tirzepatide for sure. Is that it's much more a GIP medicine than it is a GLP-1 5-to-1 ratio. So I think that's the idea behind the fewer side effects. Do you think there will be a better medication ahead for us type 2 slow responders? Yes, Jenna. I think it's CagriSema, which is semaglutide, which is Wegovy and Ozempic, but they're adding to it an amylin agonist called cagrilintide, and they put them both together in a once weekly injection, and it adds that amylin agonist, which really revs up the weight loss for people with diabetes, I think. 25%. So everything good you've heard about retatrutide from a weight loss standpoint, CagriSema is right there, and it's the next one to hit the market in 2026. Yee just subscribed on YouTube. Thanks for the sub on YouTube. Can somebody on YouTube give me a count of our subscribers? What are my opinions about cycling peptides? There are a lot typically ran cycles. You mean like alternating tirzepatide and semaglutide? I think that would be an interesting thing for people to try if their doctors were down with it. The hard thing would be finding a prescriber that's willing to think outside the box with this stuff, but they are out there. I would try it if they recommended it to me. I commented on your TikTok live about the future of peptides in proteomics. I can't remember. I do remember this conversation now, but I don't remember what that word means. 14.3 thousand. Yeah. So we haven't gone up yet. Literally just found your channel, Jono. Thank you. Jono, thank you. I appreciate that. So glad to see a guy on a GLP-1. This is my second time on it and it's working so well. I'm down about 60 pounds since July. So much more to go. Well, Jono, that is amazing. Thanks for being here. I hope you hit the subscribe button while you're here, and congratulations on the success. It's great. You're no longer taking Julie's no longer taking antidepressant meds and anti-anxiety meds. Amazing. It really does seem like one of the things that I talk about is how I feel like tirzepatide specifically does something in the brain to just quiet it. People talk about food noise being quieted, but as somebody who lives with ADD, I feel like it's everything is turned down. It's just quieter in my brain for sure. Just joined. Do you anticipate higher dose vials for cash pay? I do, Patricia. I would imagine within the next few months we'll see that. That is my thought. Proteins in biological systems. We were talking about the microbiome in the gut. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Wheels Up shared me in a few Facebook groups. Thanks, Wheels Up. I appreciate that. That is amazing. I appreciate anybody who shares my stuff. I really, really appreciate that. We're always trying to just reach a wider audience. And so that's why we jump on these lives here. Does Mounjaro help more than Wegovy for food noise? I think the prevailing thought is that it does. Just because the GIP is a different hormone. So it hits different receptors. And so they're not, we talk about them as if they're in the same class of medications, but really GIP is while they're both incretin hormones, GIP is in sort of a class all its own outside of GLP-1. So it definitely is not the same experience usually between the two medications. John subbed right away. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Celebrating 103 pounds loss is fit, flavor, fun. No BP meds, no CPAP. Wow. You're hitting all of the things, Allie. Yeah, that's amazing. You're like checking all of the boxes. Allie, we do need to get that scheduled. You're still on my radar. It's just been a little bit hectic, but let's get that. Let's try to get that done this month if we can. Just shoot me what works for you. Maybe we can even get something put together for this week. I do have opening, so hit me up. What's the last day for TERS for compound pharmacies as of right now? We kind of touched on that earlier. The 2nd of December. If nothing changes, the 2nd of December. But all of that hinges on what happens on November 21st. We'll see then. The next date to watch on your calendar is November 21st. We'll have a lot more updates for you by then. So make sure you hit subscribe to the channel, and obviously we'll have that information as soon as it comes out. For sure. Akasha reached her goal. Not sure. Doctors are going to allow you to keep taking Zepbounds for maintenance. If they want. So if your doctor, this is something that I would say, Michael, I want to get to your comment there. So remind me if I miss it. One of the things that I would say to my doctor, if I was hitting goal and I, didn't have diabetes and they were going to say, there's no needle on the Ozempic pen. Somebody's worried I'm going to poke myself. There's no needle. You actually put a needle on every time you take it. I would say, the clinical trials for tirzepatide show that many of the people who go off the medication, do have weight regain. So the people who are on placebo in that trial, where they kept some people on tirzepatide for maintenance, and then some people got placebo after they reached weight loss, and most of the people who were on placebo regained weight. And so I would ask my doctor why they want me to be in that placebo group, right? Why do you want me to be in the placebo group? The clinical trials say that the medication is necessary. And then I would go back to the reason that people take anti-obesity medications in the first place. It's because obesity is a chronic disease of metabolic disorder, and chronic disease requires chronic treatment. Supplement can't wait for DNF10 yeast peptide can aid in appetite suppression. It also has Garcinia. Yes, it does. Cambodia or whatever. Yeah. Thank you, Incretin Science, for that. Yeah. So she's talking, she or he, I don't know your gender, I guess, Incretin Science. I think of you as a she in my head, but maybe you're a he. Can't wait is the peptide that we've been talking about. I started taking it 6 weeks ago as I'd maxed out on the 15 milligram dose as far as weight loss. For tirzepatide, I added this. It really started to, thank you. I must have intuition. It really helped to sort of bring back some hunger suppression. I kind of say it helps me in the sense that, that feeling you kind of get when you go up to a new dose, at least the feeling that I would get when I would go up to a new dose. That's sort of what taking this in the morning helps me throughout the day have. So if you're interested in it, the link's in my bio on TikTok. Use the code OTP10 to save 10%. If you're watching on YouTube, you can catch that. The link is in the description of the video, and you can use code OTP10. Don't want to continue to have the long-term protections. Yeah, like heart disease and inflammation. Right. And we learned that in a clinical trial for tirzepatide, the longest tirzepatide trial is 3 years long with a bunch of pre-diabetics. 99% of them did not get diabetes. And then when they went off the medication, then some people started to develop that type 2 diabetes. And so, again, why do you want me to be part of this placebo group? Give me the medication that is being shown clinically and scientifically to aid in treating the metabolic disease that is obesity. 5-amino-1 MQ is another peptide, as well as folks for plateauing on incretins I've been hearing. Awesome. I'll have to check that one out, Incretin Science. If you wouldn't mind, if it's not too much work, if you could inbox me that would be super helpful. I'd love to check it out. Sue the Dude, how are you, buddy? Driving to your walk area and in the park. You're going to listen, hang out with us for a little bit, buddy. Thank you, Incretin Science. So yeah, what other questions do we have? Okay, Michael had something that I wanted to get back to about DPP4. And was it the DPP4 limiter that split the TERS peptide or a DPP4 activator to let GIP function separately? I don't know what you're talking about there. So DPP4 is an enzyme that is actually produced by gut bacteria. And if you're type 2 diabetic, it's produced by bacteria that in a type 2 diabetic is in overabundance. And DPP4 breaks down endogenous GLP-1. And so what they've done, and it breaks down gut hormones, right? And so what they've done is they've wrapped both tirzepatide and semaglutide in like this fatty acid molecule that basically keeps it from being broken down by DPP4. That's part of the reason why you have a much longer half-life with these. One of the things I don't think people know about actual endogenous GLP-1 that your body makes, there's all sorts of supplements out there that say, increase your natural GLP-1. That is not this, because those are bunk science, and they're playing on people's emotions and playing on marketing. But natural endogenous GLP-1, which is simply a nutrient-stimulated hormone, that means when you have nutrient intake, your gut starts to sense the nutrients that you're making. Your gut starts to release GLP-1, endogenous GLP-1. But that DPP-4 comes along and it destroys it within minutes. So your endogenous GLP-1 is only lasting in your body for a few minutes. So any supplement that claims to increase your endogenous GLP-1, know that it's probably correct. It is probably increasing your GLP-1, but it would never, ever, 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 ever in a million years be able to increase GLP-1 to the orders of magnitude that these do. Because these have orders of magnitude higher activity on your GLP-1 and GIP receptors. And the half-life of these is like 5 days. I can't remember which one it is, but like 5 and 7 days. So the half-life of these medications is measured in days, where your endogenous GLP-1 is actually measured in minutes. Maybe even less than that. It's a very short amount of time that GLP-1 acts in your body. So before it's destroyed by DPP-4. That's why with some for seconds, incretin science says. So yeah, incretin science, I'll default to you. But any supplement that's out there that's like increase your natural GLP-1 is just playing on marketing. And it's ridiculous. Let me turn on the light here. It's too much light. So yeah, I would stay away from those, but that's not what integrated peptides is. This is DNF10. It is a peptide that's thought to act on leptin and ghrelin. The hormones associated, leptin is associated with basically satiety, and ghrelin is associated with hunger. And so it's going to decrease leptin and decrease ghrelin and increase leptin. It's just a different pathway. The reason that I looked this up is because I was looking up the patents for these, for semaglutide, tirzepatide, and like why couldn't somebody like, because in the back of my mind, this is where I think, like, why couldn't an Elon Musk or why couldn't a Mark Cuban, one of these guys who knows about this stuff, just take their gobs of money and develop a GLP-1 analog that could just be brought to market in a nutraceutical that could be available for cheap and over the counter. This stuff has got to be relatively cheap to make. It's made from yeast. So it's probably labor intensive more so than it is, expensive from a what you need to make it. But I went down the rabbit hole and found there are peptides that have not been brought to market as pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals instead, that you can get them over the counter without a prescription. And that's what led me to integrated peptides, and can't wait. Now, of course, there is a couple of other products that they have too. BPC 157. This is another peptide that's thought to help with reducing inflammation and healing. There's one that's a gut health thing. I take the gut health because, again, like we were talking about before, when you're diabetic, like I am, your body, your gut is producing a lot of gut bacteria, and the overabundance of DPP4 is not doing you any favors in helping to regulate your appetite and things like that. So I want good, healthy gut. So I've cut out aspartame. That's one of the first things. I did some reading and found that aspartame can be detrimental to your gut health. And so I pretty much entirely cut out aspartame. I've replaced it with the only time I drink a soda, it's going to be flavored with Zevia. But then to sort of restore my gut health, I've been committed to doing these guts. So they've got lots of stuff. And it's basically just, I'm trying to find every way that I can sort of optimize my gut health, because the more I learn about gut health, the more I understand the disservice I've done to myself, especially as a diabetic, from a weight department by eating, consuming, and drinking things that are not good for my gut health. Does that make sense? I know this probably sounds like I'm trying to sell things, but really this has been my own journey, my own struggle of trying to find ways to optimize my health. The gut health supplement is called Gut Feeling. It's got BPC 157, which they also sell separately. That's the one that's, I think they call this the Wolverine peptide. It is designed to help basically reduce inflammation and help healing. It's got KPV, immune peptide for A2, immunolin, and pre and probiotics, right? The pre and probiotics are important to good gut health. This is integratedpeptides.com. It's linked in the description of my TikTok here. So optimizing gut health, trying to find better ways to control my hunger and satiation levels. Because the one thing that people always ask me to drink, this is Gut Feeling. Sorry. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? That's the Wolverine stack. Okay. So yeah, this is all integratedpeptides.com. None of this is cheap, by the way, just to be forewarned, but you can use code OTP10 at least save you 10%. When I started taking this, I was like, I want to make sure that we find a way to make this stuff cheaper for our community. And they're like, well, we have this affiliate program. I was like, I honestly don't even care about that. Just like if it's helpful, I want people to be helped by it. But full disclosure, I do get a commission if you buy something from that channel too, or from that link. So I'm still taking a GLP 100%. I would never not take a GLP. And if you're trying to get increased appetite suppression, listen, my first move would be to dose up. I wouldn't be looking at something else that's not on the market. Or I wouldn't be looking at something else that's like a supplement to try to make it better for me. If I could dose up on the good stuff, like that's what I would do. But I'm maxed out at 15. So again, talk to your doctor before you do any of this stuff. Before you look at a peptide, or at least talk to your doctor, see what your doctor thinks. If your doctor is closed-minded and thinks it's all hokum, I might consider a different doctor. But that's between you and your doctor, obviously. Fifth Flavor Fun says Wolverine peptides also make you grow adamantium claws. So yeah. Does this make sense? I hope so. I feel like this has sort of become an integrated peptides infomercial. What I need to do is I need to get their CEO or their chief scientist on to talk about this stuff better than I can. Because this is definitely not like my wheelhouse to talk about this stuff. I found the stuff that's working for me. It's helping me, and that's why I am happy to talk to you about it. Incretin says the multi-peptide approach is the future for those who have less sensitivity to incretins. I do believe that is the case. Absolutely. Buddy, I'm on a live stream. Do you need something?
Yeah.
What do you need?
I've turned off the TV while we were going to play Chesapeake.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Mommy can help you with that, okay?
Sorry.
I'll be out in just a minute, okay, bud?
That's many times I told him.
That's okay, buddy. Let's see. Are they testing higher doses in the future? They're testing 20 and 25 milligrams of tirzepatide now. They've already tested 25 and 50 milligrams of oral semaglutide. They've tested, I think, all the way up to 16 milligrams of semaglutide. But 7.4, I think, will get available sometime in the next 2 years as well. So higher doses of the current medications are coming for sure. Probably late 2026 for tirzepatide. I don't know about semaglutide. I think we'll get oral semaglutide 25 milligrams within the next year. So higher doses of the current medications are coming. And then obviously in 2026, CagriSema is coming. I'm very, very excited and bullish on CagriSema. So, yeah. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. If you're watching on TikTok, please jump over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. We're trying to get to 15,000. I don't know if there's anybody watching today on YouTube who's not subscribed already, but I hope you'll consider subscribing. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu Saturday afternoon live stream. Just definitely I enjoy just being able to come on and answer questions from time to time. Because I have a show. We do the show. There's an agenda to get to, and I don't always have the time to sit down and chit chat just about what you guys want to talk about. So I want to be doing more of these here and there. So thank you. Incretin Science found me on YouTube first months ago. That's amazing. Thank you for following me, and thank you for hanging out with me and continuing to come back. I appreciate it. Maybe sometime, if you're willing to be on camera, maybe we could have a conversation on OnThePen. Sounds like you and I could learn a lot from you. So that would be great. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me on this Saturday afternoon. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, and yeah, thank you for hanging out. You're such a great group of people, and I enjoy hanging out with y'all. And so I'm gonna go hang out with the fam for the rest of the afternoon. I appreciate everyone who's going and subscribing on YouTube. Help us get to that 15,000. Share the video or share the channel. The link OnThePen.tv is our weekly show. Share that into your Reddit group. Share it into your Facebook group. Share it into wherever people talk about this stuff. That is so helpful to what we do here at OnThePen. But until next time, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon. I hope you all have a good Sunday. Enjoy your time with your family. Until next week, we'll see you next week.